Hello, today I'm not in the Lake District. I'm not even on a hill. I'm actually at a place called Tewitfield, which is about 4 miles north of Carnforth, very close to the M6. The M6 is just over there, and that's why I'm doing this introduction in my car, because the noise of the M6 is too great to do it right at the start of the walk. So I'm going to do a walk I've never done before. Over there is the M6, which many people would say is the gateway to the Lake District. And we're 5 minutes from junction 36. If you're coming up from the south, that's the point where people start to say, yeah, we're nearly there. About a mile over to the west of there is the West Coast Main Line. And that also was one of the ways you got to the lake counties in days past. And the West Coast Main Line opened in the 1840s. It's an old form of transport in terms of how long it's been there. But where I'm going today and what I'm going to be doing today is following an even older route. It's a route that's 200 years old. In those days, it was the gateway to the lakes, because back in 1822, if you wanted to get to the Lake District, you had two choices. You either went by road, usually in a carriage, horse and carriage, along a bumpy, stony road. It was uncomfortable, it took a long time. You might even take the route that went straight across Morecambe Bay. It was slightly quicker, but a lot more dangerous. The alternative, of course, was to take the canal. There were fast packet boats that ran from Preston all the way up to Kendal. And when I say fast, they did it in 8 hours, which by the standards of the age was actually pretty quick. Now, the canal closed north of Tewitfield in 1944, and it's lain derelict ever since. Parts of it have no water in it. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to walk the canal. You can still walk the canal towpath. The M6 crosses over it 3 times. Other main roads cross over it. There are all sorts of obstructions. It runs through farmland. Some of it's been sold off, so it's in private ownership. But despite all this, the Canal Trust has decided that they want to reopen the stretch between Tewitfield here and Kendal. That's a 14-mile stretch of canal, almost into the Lake District. And I thought I'd take the walk along the canal and actually look at how viable that is. At the same time, we'll be looking at the scenery, we'll be looking at the wildlife, we'll be looking at everything really. So why don't you come with me? Construction of the Lancaster Canal began in 1792, but prior to 1819 it terminated here at Tewitfield, 4 miles north of Carnforth. Now, you could be forgiven for never having heard of Tewitfield. I mean, it's not exactly a large settlement, there's no great industry. So why was it chosen as a temporary northern terminus of the canal? The answer lies in the first mile of the walk. Just north of here is a flight of locks. It was the only flight of locks on the 57-mile route from Preston to Kendal. There were 8 of them over a 3/4 of a mile stretch of the canal. and they were the last element of the canal to be built. Now, the thing about locks is that they slow down the boats using the canal. To go through this flight took a minimum of 2.5 hours, but the canal company had a solution to that time-consuming problem. The packet boats that carried passengers didn't go through the locks. The passengers got out of one boat, walked the 3/4 of the mile to the other end, and then got on another boat. Looking at these locks, the stonework looks in good order, given that it's 200 years old. The plan is to restore the first 7 locks and then remove the top lock to lower the depth of the canal by 10 feet or so. That will enable the canal to run under the motorway. Once on the other side, a new lock will be built to bring the canal up to the current level. We're past Bridge 142. We're heading towards Burton. It's gone quiet. The motorway is over there. There's a railway line over the other side, so we're going to have to be hope that that doesn't make too much noise. But at the end of the day, it's interesting that the 2 more modern forms of transport are either side of this old canal. Burton in Kendal lies roughly midway between Lancaster and Kendal, and is just under half a mile from the canal. It had a wharf serving the village, the remains of which are visible today. Holme lies a couple of miles north of Burton. When the canal opened in 1819, it was little more than a tiny hamlet. Its growth was due to the canal and flax. In 1819, a Quaker named Joseph Waveman bought an old corn mill on the southern edge of the hamlet. When he converted the mill to produce fine linen, he also built houses for the workers to live in. Within 20 years, the neighbouring village had grown large enough to have its own parish church and school, which is now the parish hall. The route of the canal close to the mill was a key factor in Waveman siting his flax mill here. The linen that the mill produced was shipped out by canal. the weather's improved as well, so I think this fleece can come off and the water bottle can come out, because it's actually turning out to be a nice warm day. It's nicely tended little gardens there. You know, I get the impression that the people of Holme are well pleased with their canal. They're quite proud of it. As we leave Holme, the traffic noise from the motorway increases. The canal is culverted on the North Road. The Canal Trust want to build a new canal bridge here. Actually, there's an alarming lack of signage around here. This makes me think I may have gone the wrong way, but the canal, you can't follow the towpath, so... Right, the canal goes under the hedge and out that side. So, let's investigate a bit further. There we are, through the gate, and I'm on my way again. Lovely. Less than half a mile later, and the canal turns to run under the M6 via another culvert. I have to detour down some steps. Into a cow field. It's a noisy walk, but with a half decent view of the distant fells. Right, through the kissing gate behind me. I think you can just see. Across the bridge and wave the M6 goodbye. The Canal Trust cannot build a tunnel under the motorway here. It's too low. They plan to divert the course of the canal slightly by building one closer to North Road instead. Normal service is restored. We've got that paddleboarder, young lady paddleboarding. She's been with me for about a quarter of a mile here, and I have to say, I think it's brilliant that there are people who are getting out on this water. It's weed enough, it's free of weed enough, so I mean you're not having any problems with navigation, I don't think. It's a great way. It's sort of cruising down the river on a sunny afternoon. It's wonderful. We've arrived at the A65 and another culvert. You know, with the width of that tunnel, it just makes you wonder why they didn't just build it a bit wider and another canal to run through. I suppose the reality was that they didn't think anybody would use this canal. But actually, it is a well-used resource, and it would be even better used if you could get through there. Oh, that's the plan. The Canal Trust are looking to widen the existing tunnel to accommodate the canal. This is a delightful stretch of the canal. It's just a shame that the motorway and the main A65 are quite close. Less than half a mile later we have culvert number 6, the last one. Right, this is Crooklands. There's the Texaco garage over there and the motorway just here, and it's thankfully the last time we will have to cross this motorway. There's a culvert there for the canal. We're going to have to walk alongside the road. The good thing is there's a wide path, not too many cars, and it's only what, 100 yards. Then we say goodbye to the road and the motorway and head away across country, and that'll be really good. That outflow is the canal feeder channel from Killington Lake. Over 15 million litres of water a day pour into the canal. This is Peasy Beck, which carries the water from Killington to here, with the remainder going on to Milnthorpe and the Kent estuary. A short distance later we go under Bridge 166 and round the corner to find a boat. But what's he doing here? There are no boats on this canal. Opposite the boat, an old stable acts as an information point. Complete with wildlife. A little further on and there's a display explaining about the wharf that used to stand here. Right, we're coming up to Stainton now, where the water section of the canal ends. So beyond there, there's no water. Or is there? This is Stainton, Bridge 172. The water certainly ends here. There's a banking and the footpath goes over it. So there's little doubt that the water ends. But beyond there appears to be some water. according to the information I have, this has been called the first furlong, the very first stretch of reclaimed canal. It runs to the next bridge. There we are, under the bridge, and it really is the end of the water section. This is what a dry canal bed looks like. Trees, lots of foliage. I mean, that tree there, which is in the middle of the canal, what is it, 40, 50 years old? Here we are, half a mile from Stainton, and we're at the end of the road. Well, actually, we've reached the road. We're going to cross it. Right, there's no canal. The canal ends there, that's it. There's the bypass up there, the A590. There's the railway just over here. I can see the lines. I'm on a road going under the bypass. So, where's the canal? What's happened to it? Well, actually, this road has cut through it. Obviously, this road wasn't there in 1820, or if it was, there would be a bridge. But somebody's built the A590 dual carriageway, and that's done away with the bridge. However, I've gone under the underpass, and I've got to cross this road, and there's a gate here, and it says public footpath Towpath Trail Hincaster Tunnel. And there it is, Hincaster Tunnel, sitting underneath the West Coast Main Line. If I can't walk through the tunnel, I'm going to have to go over it. Up those steps, under the railway, and over Hincaster Hill. So not only do I go under the motorway and the A65 road, I'm now going under the West Coast Main Line. In the darkness, there we are. There can't be many walks anywhere. They give you that. Oh, and there's that bridge. There we are. At the other end, you come out onto a road. There's a few houses here as well, and a sign that says Kendal, 5 miles. And alongside a garden wall. A lovely idyllic place to live, this, I would suggest. And there's the other end of Hincaster Tunnel. This looks like a seldom used footpath. I'm sure it is used, but it's nice and quiet around here actually, apart from folks like me walking around talking to a camera. There's a short stretch through woodland, and then there's no sign of a canal towpath. There's been some cow pats in the field, so I guess it's used for livestock, but there's certainly no sign of a canal.